Classified Canyon is packed with secrets, from UFOs and cubes to weird plush toys, but it's also hiding the biggest, darkest secret of the entire chapter right behind the secret bunker. If you thought that after the 0-hour finale, we defeated the Dark Presence and safely yeeted ourselves onto a brand new island, that's not what happened. The darkness followed us, and it's still watching from the other side. If you remember, after the Chapter 5 finale, we arrived in Reality 783, where the 0-point shard fell into the spirit realm, right into the hands, or more precisely, the tentacles of the Dark Presence. Remember, the 0-point shard was consumed by the Dark Presence way back in Chapter 6, Season 1? We were there for literally a year. And now we know that whole time was just a test run, a simulation run by the last reality. Just imagine, in Reality 783, we were on Oninoshima for years. All that time, the Dark Presence was lurking, watching, and slowly consuming the power of the 0-point shard. And if you thought we just dealt with it and safely escaped the island? Well, the new secrets prove something way worse. The 0-point shard has changed after being trapped in the Dark Presence for so long. It's corrupted now. And because of that, the Dark Presence itself can return. But how did it all come to this? Chapter 6 kicked off when a 0-point shard crashed into Reality 783. It's called Oninoshima, which roughly translates to Island of Demons. Thousands of years ago, this place was home to them, but local clans banished the demons to the spirit realm and sealed the gates. At first glance, Reality 783 might seem like just another random dimension added to stir up mystery and get the community theorizing. However, references to Oninoshima have been appearing in Fortnite since Chapter 4 Season 2. If you carefully analyze the storyline dialogues and hints scattered across various locations, you'll realize that the Fox Clan and the River Guardians are originally from Reality 783. Yes, my favorite Drift, Vi, and the rest of the crew in white and pink kitsune masks originally came from Oninoshima. That said, there's one amusing inconsistency here. Drift initially ended up on the Chapter 1 island because of a rift that opened in the real world. So, it's still unclear which reality Drift originally came from. If you have your own explanation, feel free to share it in the comments. The relationship between the River Guardians and the Fox Clan is the backbone of Oninoshima's story. They were the most influential people on the island, essentially running everything, at least until the war and destruction began. The thing is, the Fox Clan mastered the ancient art of creating masks, and these weren't just regular Halloween masks or party accessories. These were full-fledged magical artifacts that allowed many samurai to absorb the spiritual energy of Oninoshima. The Fox Clan transformed their craft into true magic. In simple terms, they essentially invented an equivalent to Naruto's chakra. Everything seemed fine, until a few mask makers created masks that were way too overpowered. These masks became such a threat that the other clans on Oninoshima declared war on the Fox Clan, as their magic posed a real danger to the island. Leading the resistance was none other than the River Guardians. This clash, known as the War of Shadows, led to catastrophic destruction. The infighting among the clans caused the ancient masks to spiral out of control, opening a gateway to the spirit realm. At its center was an unknown shogun, a towering brute. Only by uniting their forces were the samurai able to seal the rift using the Dragon Gates, which you've likely come across by now. The final battle for Oninoshima took place at Night Shift Forest. And if you wander through the area, you can still find remnants of the fight, such as spears, swords, helmets, and other gear. A local legend has also spread about a samurai girl who, in her effort to protect her clan, became trapped forever in the spirit realm, a ghostly dimension. She fell under the control of a powerful Oni, who turned her into his puppet. By now, you've probably guessed this legend refers to Night Rose. The Fox Clan destroyed all mentions of the mask-making technique, but as we later learn, they weren't entirely honest. The world remained at peace until a fragment of the 0-point crashed onto the island. The power of the reality core awakened the ancient magic, reopening the gates to the spirit realm. If you're curious about how the locals reacted to this, I've got some exclusive footage from a homie, Jonesy. After leaving the Chapter 5 island, Jonesy and Hope are on a mission to find a mysterious artifact that Hope compares to Pandora's box. Hope believes these powerful trinkets are just pieces of a much bigger puzzle, which leads the team to Oninoshima. Here, they meet Kendo, a local samurai, who, along with his brother Daigo and sister Jade, is already battling demons after the gates were reactivated. Hope and Jones quickly realize they're in the right place and join the fight against the demon world. But this demon-fighting family isn't as ordinary as they seem. They're descendants of ancient samurai who fought in the original War of Shadows. Remember how I said the Fox clan wasn't entirely honest? It turns out their craftsmen secretly passed down knowledge of mask making through generations. The most skilled of them is Daigo, who, under the guise of running a mask shop, creates ancient artifacts in hopes of gaining an edge in the battle against the demons. Here's an interesting fact. The device he uses to create these masks is called the Spirit Extractor in the game files. Essentially, Daigo grinds spirits like a blender, turning them into pure energy to forge the masks. Not exactly the most humane method when it comes to those poor sprites, but anyway, something clearly didn't go as planned. The mask Daigo crafted for Jade accidentally transported her to the spirit realm, which has created a lot of tension between the brothers. Honestly, Daigo seems pretty shady overall, as you can pick up from his dialogues with Mizuki. He's definitely not as straightforward as he appears right now. While the brothers sort out their family drama, the Fox Clan and River Guardians, realizing the need to strengthen their resistance, finally set aside their old grudges and unite once again. Other groups operating on Oninoshima, like the High Stakes Club, are joining the effort too. These guys definitely know a thing or two about hunting down supernatural threats, though they mostly operate behind the scenes. I left out a few details to avoid turning this video into a full-on lecture about Chapter 6's lore. Let's be real, not everyone wants to know how Oninoshima has developed over the past 1,000 years, but at least now you have a general understanding of what we're dealing with. While Hope and Jones are busy battling demons, they're missing one critical detail. Where did the reality core fragment even come from? And more importantly, where did it go? Something tells me that fragments of what was once the most powerful object in the multiverse don't just randomly travel between dimensions. Everything stayed quiet until that shard hit and shattered the seal. Suddenly, demonic energy started leaking out again. That's when two big threats showed up: the mysterious Shogun and the possessed Night Rose. The darkness from the spirit realm wasted no time snatching up the fallen shard, because it holds insane power. Trying to stop the nightmare before it spread, the Demon Hunter family, Jade, Kendo, and Daigo, teamed up with Jonesy and Hope, who had arrived searching for the shard. Daigo, the cocky older brother, decided to fight the Shogun alone. And actually won. Knowing the shard wouldn't be easy to protect, Hope and Midas, who somehow also ended up on Oninoshima, launched a secret vault project. This vault was supposed to be the last line of defense against the darkness and the spirit realm. But then, everything went wrong. Drunk on his victory over the Shogun, Daigo fell under the mask's influence, became possessed, and joined the side of darkness. He drained the island's life force to open a gate for the dark presence itself. Loopers managed to stop him temporarily thanks to the Supernova Hero program, which awakened after the reality pulse. But even though we won that fight, the damage was already done. The dark presence's blood seeped into the ground, awakening a swarm of demonic bugs. And in this fight, our biggest ace is an organization called OXR, led by the mysterious Onyx Winter. Thanks to OXR, Jones and Hope discovered something huge. The bugs can slip into the spirit realm through special access points, bypassing the main gates entirely. Now the island's rescue team is figuring out how to use that same trick to infiltrate the spirit realm and reclaim the 0-point shard before the darkness can weaponize it. But the dark presence isn't just sitting back. Hope can sense something terrifying brewing inside the spirit realm. It's starting to feel like darkness is planning a massive strike on Oninoshima. Hope and Jones pulled up to another anomaly to check it out.
All right, time to seal the breach and trap Mr. Demon in the spirit realm. Your upgrades to the Rift device better work.
Through that rift, we got another peek at the Dark Presence. Jones tried to use his Rift device to seal the breach between worlds. Spoiler alert, it was an L. The Dark Presence was too powerful, broke through.
All right, Jones, if you're gonna do something, do it now.
This will either fix everything, or make it a whole lot worse. See? Piece of cake.
Heads up!
Well, I made it worse. So much worse. We can't let that demon take the island.
Next thing you know, Hope and Jones are chilling on Kang and Kodos' UFO, and things got absolutely bonkers. We tried to pull the 0-point shard out of the Dark Presence, but it was straight up built different, yanking us into the interdimensional void. We still managed to snatch a piece of the shard though. Caught in a loop, Hope was fighting off the aliens to get back to Oninoshima. But the aliens got the upper hand, and we ended up yeeted right into Springfield. The 0-point shard piece landed right in Homer's hands. As I said before, that thing is basically a magic wand for him. He can reshape objects and even grow his hair back. So yeah, escaping the Simpsons reality is 100% up to Homer and his remote. We watched as Homer used the full power of the shard to transform Springfield into the city of his dreams. Meanwhile, Hope and Jones were trying to retrieve the 0-point shard to activate the Rift device and return to the island. Eventually, they succeeded. After activating the device, we returned to Oninoshima, but it looked completely different.
This doesn't look like the island.
And that looks like just a whole lot of trouble. If he wants a fight, he's got one. Time to take back our island. Let's go!
if things aren't dangerous enough.
Trust me. 3, 2, here goes crazy.
The cube? That's not crazy. That's insane!
Exactly! All right! All forces, open fire!
Hit him with everything you've got! It's working! Keep it up!
Take cover!
The cube's gonna blow!
Mega team leader!
Who's piloting that? We did it!
The 0 point shard.
This feels more like home.
Our event. A shard of the epicenter yeeted us and itself into a new island known as the Golden Coast. The island and this whole reality are packed from head to toe with parties, shows, and movie premieres. While every looper gets to feel like a real Hollywood star, there is a creepy floating sphere hanging over the island, and you cannot even imagine what we are about to face. With our arrival on the Golden Coast, it's becoming obvious that the dark presence is history, so that means the seat for the main villain is vacant. Or is it? The start of Chapter 7 drops a bombshell about the nature of the island itself. If you were watching closely, the story trailer after the event showed runes that translate to reveal we were all unwittingly in a training program or simulation for exactly 8 years, 9 weeks, and 3 days. Yeah, you heard that right. Every match we sweated, every jump from the battle bus, every event, every villain, every little love story, all of it was fake. The only thing we know for sure is not fake is my creator code, which is very real, and I am seriously thankful to everyone who uses it in the shop. Back to the secret message. That 8-year period lines up perfectly with how long Fortnite Battle Royale has existed. That really makes you think, did anything in the Fortnite story actually happen, or was it all just one giant movie set? All of this feels painfully familiar and screams Matrix. People as lab rats, their minds messed with in a giant system they never agreed to. So the obvious question is, are we just puppets in someone else's massive horror experiment that maybe is not even over yet? Who knows what is really going on inside Charlie Wen's head?
Give me your attention, baby.
And the weird stuff does not stop there. The scariest part is that the same message includes a formula, and if you translate it from math into normal language, you get 160 billion years. While 8 years passed in our world, inside the game we lived through billions of years of evolution and endless loops. Every chapter, every season, every island reset, all of it were iterations of the simulation. We were not just jumping from the battle bus and running around for loot. We were part of a giant experiment where time moves millions of times faster than outside. And the whole time, we were subjects being watched by scientists. And those scientists are not human. At the same time, a member of the Seven show up on the island again. In particular, the Order. The way she arrives is the same as the Foundation and the Visitor. She crashes down inside a meteor, only with less blockbuster drama. Unlike her teammates, she only leaves an audio log saying she showed up with her own plan after hijacking Jones's broadcast during 0 hour.
Mission log. I was scanning the aftermath of the battle for Reality 783 when I picked up a distress signal sent by Agent Jones. It's been a while. He and I have a lot to catch up on. Whatever's going on, odds are the 0 point is involved. Initial scans show this place has an intense concentration of 0 point energies. I'll need more info to make a complete assessment.
But do not get too hyped. She barely manages to show up on the island, and she is already gone. Sorry folks, that is just week 1 of the chapter, and the plot is already moving at breakneck speed. I bet every looper has already felt that creepy vibe that someone is watching you. You are not alone out there. Right from the start of the season, something appeared in the sky that looks like the cube cradle. It changes position every day, and it is piloted by no other than Dark Voyager, who is hiding the golden cube inside, the command center of cube energy. The proof that this is a messenger of the last reality is on the map as the location classified Canyon, basically Fortnite's version of Area 51. It is a real secret facility built in the shape of a triangle, the symbol of the last reality crest. Down in its bunker, they are hiding UFO from the second invasion and files on key characters, including Dr. Sloan. But Dark Voyager is by far not the only one spying on you. Epic decided to fully crank up the lore by bringing up a being known as the Nothing. In secret bunkers, you can find warning signs like, "It is watching," and "There is nothing to see here," which are direct callbacks to this creepy entity. If the 0 point is pure creation, then the Nothing is the complete opposite, absolute destruction and emptiness. These little details confirm that Fortnite's ancient enemies did not go anywhere. They are still watching the loopers from the shadows. Good news, we are not doomed yet. After the final event, we still managed to recover a 0 point shard. It is still one of the core elements of the universe, now confirmed to be scattered across time and space. One of its shards is in Inner Loop Labs. The energy from that shard powers a giant underground teleportation system shaped like a ring, kind of like a Fortnite-style Large Hadron Collider. In real life, people were freaking out that those experiments might spawn black holes. So in-game, using unstable 0 point energy for this kind of stuff sounds like a straight road to disaster. Speaking of the last disaster, after the battle for Oninoshima during 0 hour, the island is back to normal and living a peaceful life again. If you were wondering where Daigo and Kendo are, well, the siblings decided to stay on Oninoshima to protect it from any kind of threat and to carry on their family's legacy. However, Hope still thinks about Kendo, and maybe, just maybe, Kendo will visit her in the future. But for now, we can only say farewell to those siblings. They were a fun part of the Oninoshima story. Either way, the story is more alive than ever. If you were still on the fence, now is the perfect time to dive into it. I know the start of the season came in hot, and a lot of your questions are probably still hanging in the air. You can drop them in the comments under the video, and we will break them down in the next one.